This is one thing that I will say actually on the subject of electric cars is that people say that, oh, it's all mining, it's still required, there's still all the processing. Yeah, that's called mining, melting, smelting, that whole refining process. Remember this one thing: if it's not grown, it's mined. Okay, if it's not grown, it's mined. Everything, again, going back to this guy's camera, is mined. And when we look at the emissions that come from mining versus driving, so this is an interesting point, is that if we were to have a system, a fleet where a majority of the cars were electric, then that would mean that we have a centralized output of carbon, right? That's happening primarily at the mines, as opposed to the emissions taking place in the cities where people live, where there's little kids, where there's people that are old, that are more susceptible to the health impacts of these emissions. So when people say, oh, it makes no difference, there's still emissions, but they're coming just out of the mine, well, I will point out there are very big health impacts that do take place due to the change in the source location of those carbon emissions, because it's very well known that that these emissions that happen due to combustion have a negative impact on people's health. So people in cities have these types of issues that people that are living in the country do not have due to air. And there's some subtleties around that with regards to how things change downwind, downstream of cities. So, but we'll not get into that. But as a rule of thumb, you can say that the air in a city is much dirtier than the air in the country. So again, if we remove all the pollutions, which when you think of each car, it's a small source of pollution driving throughout your city. So we take all that scattered pollution and concentrate it in one place. For people to avoid the value or to ignore the value of that in terms of our health impact, I think is disingenuous to the to what it means, actually, because these are very measured and real impacts, the health impacts that do occur due to driving and the combustion. And so I think, yeah, it's pretty irresponsible to keep that side of the discussion out of this whole conversation.
You know what I'm thinking, though?